touch my shirt where the mic is. God bless me. And she just was like, oh, we finna be rich. We finna be rich. Yeah. Do you do into the jazz?
No, I thought it was about Luke Skywalker. He did that. I thought that was a Too Loud Crew song. I just got it.
And welcome to another edition of Sitdown at Uptown. You know the Sitdown Uptown here at Uptown Comedy Corner. And I'm your host and owner of Uptown Comedy Corner, Angelo Sykes. And tonight we got one of our favorites, man. Miss Vanessa Fraction's in the building.
Yeah! Yeah! Oh, is it just me clapping? Okay. Yeah!
I'm sure that
y'all gonna put the
editing gonna make it real good. Oh, yeah. What's going on, Miss Vanessa? How are you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic.
Fantastic.
Life is good.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. You're looking good as always.
Well, thank you, darling.
Yes, ma'am. So, Miss Vanessa's here rocking out at Uptown Comedy Corner, headlining this Friday night show.
It's Friday night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How does that feel?
It feels good. I like Uptown. I've always loved Uptown. Yeah, it makes me feel cozy. And everyone needs that cozy stage as a comedian, someplace that you feel at home. And, I visit other places, but for me in Atlanta, Uptown has always felt like home. So that's a great thing.
That's what's up. Well, it's good to have you as always. Yes, ma'am. So, Miss Vanessa, I always like to start my conversations going backwards. All right?
Okay.
So we want to take a stroll back to memory lane, and let's talk about the young Miss Vanessa, the young girl. Where are you originally from? How was it growing up? Siblings, all that good stuff.
Well, I saw a photograph, and it made me laugh. Ooh, I can't remember the words, but I'm back on. Okay, anyway.
There you go.
So I grew up in I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and moved around to a lot of smaller towns, and I always say I'm a Midwest girl. I ended up in Chicago, graduated high school in Chicago, that kind of thing. I have 5 siblings. I have 4 sisters and a brother.
Where do you fit?
I'm the third.
Okay.
I'm the third of 6. Yeah. I was 8 family household. Had the pops, had the moms. That was what we used to brag about. Same mama, same daddy. You know what I'm saying? And then they got divorced, and we wasn't sure if one of us was our dad's. But anyway, point is, we all grew up together, and it was a really cool household. My dad was a preacher. My mom was a social worker, and so just solid, good
PK,
family.
huh?
I'm a PK baby.
What?
I'm sure you had a few of them up in here. We always turn to comedy. We think we're gonna be, preachers and stuff. We're like, let me try this comedy because this is a little bit better. But we still have a congregation, and generally most bigger congregations than most pastors.
Yeah.
So we definitely can. Choose what we can speak a good word if we choose.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, were you a good student? Were you rowdy? How were you in class?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the one that they said had a problem with authority. But I was always smart, straight A's, that kind of thing. My dad would settle for nothing less.
Right.
If you were to come home with, even an A-, he would ask you, is there anything that you could have done to get an A+? And if the answer is yes, then why didn't you? If the answer is no, then good job. You did the best you could. You know what I mean? So it's like always that consideration. Could I have done better? That kind of thing. So I was a really good student. Student council most of the time. When I graduated, I was president of my class, that kind of thing. I was always and I was local school council. I actually sat on the Board of Education, which is where I met President Clinton and talked at the governor's mansion and did all kinds of cool things as a student. Wow. And thought I would have a life in politics even, possibly.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it was too much bullshit.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Wow. So did you participate in extracurricular activities in school?
I did. At one point, I threw the shot put. That's what big girls do. And I was a big girl at the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So you got to throw the discus and the shot put. I'll have to give you a picture so you can post it during this conversation. Yeah.
Is that right? That'd be cool to see.
I'm strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still strong. But yeah, I threw the shot put. And then after that, I got into academic athletics, which was called the academic decathlon, where you study for like a semester and take tests against other students at other schools. I got a lot of medals doing that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So where did you go after high school?
Pregnancy. I had I was supposed to have a full scholarship to whatever school I wanted to go to because, as I told you, I sat on the Board of Education in Chicago. But when they found out I was pregnant, it wasn't offered to me.
Is that right?
It was not. But it was offered to the students prior to me and after me. So I just have to assume that might have been because I was in a situation. But I needed it more probably than they did at that point. You know what I mean? So I just moved back to Kansas City, Missouri. I had lived in Kansas City, Missouri at a time. So I moved back there because I knew it would be easier for me to find a job and, be able to take care of my child.
So were your parents still in Chicago?
My parents were never in Chicago. I was living with my uncle and aunt at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a nomad. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I've always been in search of a better life.
Okay.
I would say.
So you were born in Missouri, but
I was.
You moved to Chicago on
I
your
did.
own? Or,
With my uncle and aunt.
I mean, just another sibling, just you were the only one who went to
Yeah,
Chicago.
just myself with my uncle.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Uncle Desmond, Aunt Terry. What up? Yep.
So any particular reason? Why you
Yeah,
left?
I mean, my life was a bit chaotic. It's like
Okay.
I say, I grew up humble. I don't like to say poor, but below the poverty line. It was a lot going on. I don't know. It just got a little weird at the house. You know what I mean? Where one, you don't have all the things that you need sometimes. Just as a student. Things aren't as right as you would want them to be, and so. I'm trying to say that without being disrespectful to my folks because they
Gotcha.
weren't like bad people, but it was just like you didn't have a lot of money and shit got weird.
Right. Right.
I was like, I got to get up out of
How
here.
old were you when you moved to Chicago?
15.
15.
Yeah.
So-
And I'd already done a kind of thing. I was always that type to get up out of there. I would apply for I would go to camps, you know what I mean, to a college for the summer, that kind of stuff. Like when I was younger, I would always try to find or go to an aunt. I remember I went to my aunt in San Jose during a summer. I was always that kid that would try to, I would move around. I didn't have a problem with that adventure, if you will. Yeah.
So 6 kids. So that still kind of puts you in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So that
I have 2 older sisters. I have 2 younger sisters, and I have 1 younger brother. So I'm still.
So that middle. I know sometimes that middle kid syndrome is a real thing. I was wondering if that, since you were right there in the middle,
Yeah.
maybe caught a hold of that a little bit.
I don't know because I don't know all the characteristics of it. I know that people seek attention, that kind of thing, because, it's only 2 parents.
Seeking attention, then find independence, and
Oh, is
you
that
wanna
the
do it
middle
on your
kid
own.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the older ones, they there's this older kids shit, and then there's the younger ones,
right.
baby, and the one in the middle is like, I got this. Yeah, so I would say that's me. Yeah, I would definitely say that.
Okay.
And it was no fault of my folks, but I was just like, if I was doing this, I think I could steer myself in a better direction if it were just me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so I would seek that.
So you went back to Missouri after graduation. Mm-hmm. And then
Started working for Gateway Computer Company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How long
The
did you do
little
that?
spotted boxes back in the day.
Back in the day.
I did that for a minute. I remember that's how I had my son. I was working through a temp agency and then eventually got hired on there. And I can't remember. Then I got pregnant with my daughter soon after that because I was getting ready to apply for college. Coinkydinkley at Agnes Scott is where I had applied. And then I found out I was pregnant and it got weird. But I had visited and it was just a whole thing. And anyway, I still decided to move to Atlanta anyway.
Okay.
Because, whatever. And then while I was living here, I was working temp jobs. I was working for Leslie Pool Company. And the funny thing is when I was working there, I used to tell myself, you should learn how to really balance these chemicals and how to clean a pool and all this stuff. Because one day you'll have your own pool. You know what I mean? And you'll be cleaning it. And I do have a fabulous pool right now. So, you got to believe in yourself and and trust in your journey and learn lessons as you go along because some of the things that you're learning, even if you're not in your desired space yet, you know what I mean? You might have, say that, I eventually became a comedian, but again, I learned things while I was working at the pool company. I learned things when I was working for the Koreans at the retail shop. I learned things when I was working at the phone company, and all those things contribute to who I am and the stories that I tell today. So
Gotcha.
no matter where you are, you should appreciate that time and try to get something out of it. Yeah.
So when you answer questions like that, right, it leads me to a whole nother thought process. Mm-hmm. And, we do a classic conversation show on Tuesday nights, and we delve on a lot of different topics. So you just said something that just kind of struck my mind real quick. I just want, so there's a conversation right now with the Satan down there in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. Where he says they're teaching that they want to teach education that says the slaves were taught things that made them better people. They don't want to teach the tragedy of slavery and all that stuff. They want to say, the good things and of that. And so, what's your thought on that? Because and I say that on because you just named all the things that you did and how you took advantage of it. Do you think there's any truth, or should that be taught in our school systems? Would you want your kids to be taught something that's a falsehood? Well, what I think is a falsehood.
I would want the whole story told.
The whole story told.
You know what I mean? Like if you're sitting here saying, I learned how to be a welder, because I was in slavery, you know what I mean? Would I have chosen not to be raped and taken from my hometown where maybe I would have been a farmer or a whatever the hell else I would have been, right. Or a king or a queen or a mathematician or whatever I would have been. You know what I mean? So it's all these what ifs, and it's kind of that's not what I meant.
No, I'm sure it's not. It just made me think.
I know. It makes you think of that. I think that
of how they can think that's okay.
For those survivors, they probably did think that way and made the best of their situation. Should that be taught? This is a conversation we're having. Of course, people are listening in. But, I mean, I'm just saying out loud, sure, those survivors thought I'm going to use whatever I can, whatever I've learned, even learning how to take pain. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to run. I'm going to fucking run. I don't care how much my feet bleed. I'm used to taking pain. I learned. Right. You know what I mean? Right. That benefited me. If we want to look at it that way. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we can all get snarky and kind of twist and turn. But when you speak of the whole of it all, would you like to learn that way, motherfucker? Let's just switch this up and we teach you how to be a welder where I fuck you in the ass.
How about
and
that?
Beat you and take your children and try to scare you to not just try, but scare you to death and do all this stuff and it's just ridiculousness. Yeah. So if you think that that's a good way to learn trades and so forth, why don't you let your children do it? Put your children in slavery and let them learn a trade the same way.
I like that. I like that twist. It's great.
You know?
All right, so we'll get back on.
Sheesh! I gotta go on stage, people.
Yeah,
God, dark.
It just hit me right.
But you know what? That's the crazy part about comedy and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter what's going on. We have an off and on switch that we have to turn off and on because when it's time to work, when it's time to please others, when it's time to make you laugh, the on switch turns on, and that's just what it is. Yeah. It doesn't really matter what I've been talking about prior. It doesn't matter what was going on in my life. It's time to show up for you.
So speaking of that. How did the comedy bug hit you?
Oh, I just didn't want any woulda, coulda, shouldas in life. Okay. I always thought that I would be very funny as a comedian, and at one point I was just like, you should just go for it. The only reason I hadn't is because I didn't know, like, how the fuck do you become a comedian? Or I didn't know any other comedian, so I didn't think it made any sense, okay. Right? And I was singing backup for a girlfriend at a open mic. And we weren't very good. And but something while I was sitting there, I was like, shit, I want to be on stage. I don't know what it was. It was just literally something that said, you should be on stage. And I was telling her that, and she said, you should be a comedian, because the stories you be telling at work way funnier than the shit that they tell here. And that's kind of how it happened.
Really?
I went up the next week and told some jokes. Somebody booked me for a show. 2 weeks later, going to that same club, they asked me to, the lady there, Samada, she went on tour with R. Kelly. She was one of his backup singers at the time, and they needed a host. And Big Suge, rest in peace, was the host at the time. And so I became his co-host at the open mic Monday nights at the Cotton Club in Chicago.
Is that right?
And it was a popular spot. Like, all kind of artists came through there all the time, like magicians, everything. Everything
Wow.
came, rappers, all kind of shit. It was insane.
So
and I hosted there for several years.
So you were a backup singer initially, so was singing...
I really wasn't a backup singer. My girlfriend I was carpooling with asked me to sing backup. We sang Kelly Price, something that you must. I can't remember what the fuck we was singing, but it was rough. Maybe it was something, but it wasn't good. I called my girlfriends. I was in a group when I was in church. We were in a... well, I'm sitting here cussing, so I was in a choir in church. What was our group name? Was we One Accord, child? I think we was called One Accord. I don't know why I can't remember right now. It must be the weed. But I called them up. I called my girlfriends, was like, come sing with me at this club. And we came and sang. And they can really sing, but we just didn't sound good.
Gotcha.
Singing at that club. And so I turned to comedy, and it's been working ever since.
Really?
Seriously. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
From the day I stepped on stage.
From the day you stepped on stage. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you go back in this comedy thing, right? I mean, you were one of those Def Jam people, you know, and everybody didn't get. A lot of people went on there. A lot of them didn't get picked. A lot of them, but you were on, you know, the Def Jam, Def Comedy,
Def Comedy Jam,
How was that
2008.
experience?
Incredible. Def Comedy Jam was super amazing. Definitely one of those things that you check off your box. It was something that I dreamed about. You know what I mean? Definitely. And I got it the 2008 year with Mike Epps, and it was perfect. And I will give big ups to Bob Sumner because I wanted to get on like the year prior or whatever they did. I forgot who was. No, Mike Epps. I'm so sorry. It was D.L. Hughley. That's what. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad I caught that. Mike Epps was the year before, or whenever they did it before, and I actually wanted to be on that year. Okay. And Bob Sumner, the guy that books it, and he had said that he didn't want to put me on there, and I was like, I'm funny and I'm ready. He was like, you ready, but you know, guess what? And he said it in such a nice way. Was basically saying that the only thing that will happen is that you're just going to be that much better. Even if you're great now, I don't think it's time. You know what I mean? And I just want you to really kill it. You know what I'm saying? So even so, whatever you think, you'll be that much better, you know, the next year. And it came around, I was just that much better. I really was. And thank you to Bob for that, because I got standing ovation. It was super dope. And, you know.
Was your first time on TV at that time?
No.
You had been on before?
Yes, I had been on Comic View. I had been in Barbershop 2 before that.
That was before Def Jam?
Yes, I was in Barbershop 2 in 2000.
Yeah, Barbershop that old?
And 3 or 4, I think it came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was.
Or maybe 2. It was something like that. It was something in that space. Yep, and I did Def Jam in 2008.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I did some other show in between, maybe, and then several after, but yeah.
So how was how did you get to Barbershop?
Oh, from working at the Cotton Club. At the time, the place I told you I started at, the lady that was the promoter and putting that together, her name was Carolyn Albritton, and she used to be Bernie Mac's manager, and some others, I'm sure. And she was the lady that did the Monday nights, and she's the one that hired me to host. And so she put my name in. She was also an agent, a talent agent, and so she put my name in for the movie, and I went and auditioned, and it was just like anybody. I just auditioned, and I did good, and then they had called me back for the director's cut, and I was late because I was going to child support court. It was fucking ridiculous. And so I came running in, and because I had to keep calling, like, please, 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 please let me do this audition. I promise. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming. I'm just, you know, whatever. I'm, you know, coming from court, and I'm running. I get in there, and they were like, how are you feeling? I'm like, man, I'm okay, but I just came from court, child support court, and I'm just, you know, whatever I said. And they said, okay, give me that same energy. Come right back in. And I was like, here's your shit. Now the next time you blah, 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 blah. And they were like, I hate to say it, but she's got it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I mean, I guess we got to see the rest of the people, but she's got it.
Yeah, you killed that part, too.
And I got it, you know. So shout out to my baby daddy for pissing me off. Because it got me the part. You know, and I've always tried to use that type of energy where I say you got to use anything that's coming your way, whether you think it's negative, it could be for a positive. So I could have came in there all upset and crying, you know, or whatever, but I was just like, this motherfucker, I'll be damned if you make me, you know what I'm saying? And it worked for my good.
Gotcha.
So all things can work for your good for those that are called unto the Lord, you know, for
that?
his purpose. For his purpose. Amen.
So what did your family think about you going to comedy?
Oh, mixed feelings. My immediate family was very excited for me.
Okay.
My sister was the first person I told about it, and she was like, finally we know what to do with your crazy, because you is a crazy mofo. So, like, this fits perfectly. So some people close to me there was other family, uncles and aunts, like the uncle and I was living with did not like it. They weren't very accepting of it, you know. I had 2 kids, so it seemed a little strange that I would quit my job at the phone company, you know, where you can, you know, move up and all that great stuff to go be a comedian, a clown, you know what I mean, or whatever. Because there weren't a lot of us, especially women back then. So it just looked absurd.
Yeah.
You know, but thankfully things moved along, quickly for me at least, appearance wise.
Right.
So it seemed like and not just appearance wise, my resume was building, but it seemed like it made sense, a viable, source of income and something smart for myself and my children and an upward movement for me.
So your first time, well, not your first time. At what point do you remember when you were on stage and you realized that it hit you that this is really what I want to do?
Oh, the very first time I was on stage.
The very first?
The very
Really?
first time. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure. I was kind of like, this is it. I was like, I felt so good, and I got booked immediately, and I called my sister the next day, and I told her, I think I know what I want to do with my life. And she said, what? And I said, I want to be a comedian. And she just was like, we finna be rich, bitch. We finna be rich, bitch. She just kept saying that. And, like, it makes me emotional because it was like, she just believed in me that much that she was just like, oh, my God, that makes so much sense. Because it just wasn't making all that much sense to me. So it was really her enthusiasm that kind of pushed me to do it fully.
Really?
Yeah, like even just be like, this does make sense. Finna be rich, bitch. And I'm doing quite well. So
Yeah. But in the beginning, like, what was the challenges for you?
Having children.
I was about to say being a
having
mom.
children, it still challenges
being a
me.
female in comedy.
It's still challenging. Being a mother, I'd say hands down right now. Wish I could get that time back. Wish I could have figured out how to have them and be on the road. I just couldn't figure it out at the time. You know what I mean? So that hurts my soul today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not giving my full attention to my children.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. What about the female aspect of comedy?
It's a rugged path. Full of dicks and bullshit. A lot of underestimation, all that kind of stuff. A lot of passing over, a lot of less payment. A lot of having to prove yourself. A lot of having to, buck up. Like, give me my motherfucking money. That kind of stuff. It just is, I don't know. It just makes it just that much more difficult. You know what I mean? And, yeah. I mean, just like most women, we don't get paid the same. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff you overlook sometimes. Definitely discredited the moment you hit the stage. And it's always getting over a hurdle, and you have to find yourself up there as a woman. So I can't say that it was an adventure. Not necessarily easy, but being in a male-dominated field, and of course, like it's very Googleable. I've been in a very bad fight with a comedian, and it also inspired me to start. Again, I always try to turn my negatives into a positive, and so I became a certified self-defense instructor. So now I teach self-defense, and I help other women when they're in those tight situations when people lose control. You know what I mean? Even that person that I knew him to be a nicer person many other times. And that one time, shit got fucking nuts.
Right.
And you have to know how to defend yourself, and because it could go bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I haven't had an easy road, I wouldn't say, but I'm more than a conqueror, So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm doing so good that I be forgetting about shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to be reminded, like, damn, you have come through a storm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess in a way, I didn't think it was gonna be easy in the first place. So, yeah.
What was that Chicago circuit like? Comedy circuit
Good,
like?
rough, crazy. I think it makes you a better comic. You have to, if you take advantage of it, you have all kinds of people that you can appeal to.
Okay.
And it's plenty of work, and there's a great group of people that you can work with a great minds. You know what I'm saying? And different kinds of comedians. It's not just one voice in Chicago. It's so many different original characters and people that it inspires you to find your original voice, Okay. So I think coming up in that community, it makes you a strong comedian, and we still support each other. I would definitely say.
So what brought you to Atlanta?
When I came down here that first time when I was pregnant, when I was telling you that story earlier, I just knew that it was safe here. And I came to work. That's what it was. I was living in LA, and then I came here to work, maybe just because I knew it was, becoming the Black Hollywood kind of thing and whatever. And then I ended up getting a job at the Monique show, and that made me stay and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, once that closed, I went to New York, worked at 106 and Park and some other things, went back to Chicago, back to LA, then back here.
So what are your future immediate goals that you want in this industry?
To take over the world, Pinky.
Okay.
You know that. No, I don't know. I think I'm going to get my mind blown. I'm just open to the possibilities. You know what I mean? Whether it's just, it's movie writing, it's starring in movies, it's television, writing for television. But I think there's just something I'm missing in saying these these words. Okay. You know what I mean? As far as what's in store for me, because I think I have I know that I have a really great talent and that it needs to be exposed to others for the benefit of others. I got to pee, so I'm not thinking as clearly as I would like to right now, to be honest with you. I'm trying to really wrap up that sentence because it was strong, but I'm like, God, I gotta pee. But I'm gonna do great things, Angelo, and and I know that. So many of my comrades have, and I know my talent is just as great, and so I'm just looking forward to whatever's finna happen.
So you're on 2 major platforms right now.
Yeah.
With Dishnation and,
yes.
and the tpain podcast. How'd those 2 things come about for you?
Oh, man. I've been a guest host on Dishnation for a number of years. I forgot how I first came on there. Might have been a producer I know. I know Ricky Smile and I had the same manager for a while. I can't remember how I got on there the very first time, but ever since they've been rocking and rolling with me through different producers and different it's been great, and I consider that family over there. And so, I was on tonight. So I appreciate that Dish Nation family. It's super cool. And I love guest hosting there. And then I'm on T-Pain's Nappy Boy Radio podcast. That was from a referral, basically. Hannibal Buress. Shout out to Hannibal, my Chicago bro. Okay. I say we look out for each other. Yeah. And so that was a lookout. He had me on one of his shows opening up. So T-Pain had already seen me. Okay. And then, he had me out to dinner. We were cracking up just with the folk, and it popped off.
So, Vanessa.
Yes, darling.
Great Friday.
Amazing Friday.
Had your man T-Pain in the building.
Just got off stage. Shout out to T-Pain, Nappy Boy Radio podcast. Make sure you're listening.
Absolutely.
It means everything when the artists come out.
100%.
My star is still rising.
Show the real support.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that support means the world. And it wasn't a full crowd tonight, right? Keep it real. Was not a full crowd. But that's part of the journey. When you say everybody's journey is different, because sometimes you have people that have a full crowd. I don't know where that's going to end up. It's what it is. But I don't know. It's a certain love, a camaraderie.
Speaking of the man. Speaking of the man, T-Pain.
Yay!
Hey,
T-Pain in the building.
Hey, you know what? I don't mean to be too stereotypical with a drink in my hand, but it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Did I buy it or did we just give you the drink?
I mean, no, it came from my table. I purchased the $450 table. So, I purchased tickets for this. Yeah.
Support black business.
That's true support. That's real support right there.
Amen.
Y'all hear that? That's real support right there.
We had to make sure.
That's right.
Once you see it on the website, it says elevated table. Elevated booth comes with a bottle for 4 people. Now,
That's right. That's right.
Music.
He only had 2 and came in.
That's it.
Come on now, elevated.
Right. Absolutely.
Come on, Uptown Comedy Corner.
Absolutely.
Nah, we good, man. How y'all doing? Y'all good?
We're good, man. We've been interviewing Miss Vanessa Fraction, man, going through her journey. You know what I mean? And
it's been one.
Yeah.
It's been one.
I'm tickled that he's sitting here. I must say.
Support my baby, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm all tickled and shit.
And this is the first for the Sitdown at Uptown, man.
Is it?
Absolutely.
See, you motherfuckers be packing this bitch out.
See?
I didn't pack it out, but I bought. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I bought the pain.
Yeah.
Bought the pain.
I filled the room.
With his dick. No, I'm sorry. That was.
It's thicker than
it was thicker.
I've had compliments.
I've had compliments. That is too cool.
The reviews are in.
The reviews are in.
No, this is a cool ass spot you got here, man.
It is. Slick.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I had to show my belly button to get in there, though.
What was that about? Security is security. He ain't gonna pat you down. He said,
I would have rather them pat me down. I would rather be touched by the other man than to have a dude say, man, do me a favor, lift your shirt up. What happened now? Nigga said, give me a little spin. I ain't want to do that. That was my damn shirt up.
Won't you
I gotta-
do something for me?
Yeah.
Hey.
Show my back. Why I gotta show my back first to get into the goddamn comedy club? It's crazy.
Oh man.
T-Pain.
T-Pain.
Come on, do something for me.
Give us a little spin.
Come on.
It'll
Give
be
him a
right
spin for it, baby.
Give us a little spin, nigga.
And the fucked up part was when he spun, security wasn't looking.
I did it slow. I turned back around, nigga was on the phone. Damn, bro.
What was that for?
Why did I do it?
You ain't even like it.
Needless to say, Uptown keep you safe.
Absolutely.
Uptown keep you safe.
Yeah, nobody run on the stage over here.
Hey, you ain't heard about shit. You ain't heard nothing. Come
Yeah,
on
right.
now.
I don't even think that was
Top notch.
Is that how they work
You
yet?
know, it ain't
Oh!
he ain't fucking work here.
Too
This is a
funny.
big nigga
All right.
with a black shirt off. Just maybe get that shit for no reason.
Too funny.
You over at Spun Divot.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Y'all do y'all.
this is great.
Is it good?
Oh, it gives me, such you know what I mean? Is it
Yeah.
collateral? Is that too
Collaboration.
Collateral. No,
I'm
she
going
back-
with
she coming back to
collateral.
coming back to collect, nigga. On the spot, on 15 minutes on stage, I did everything.
Whatever the fuck was per anytime.
Hilarious.
Anytime per.
I got a good
Hilarious.
five. I got a type 5.
Appreciate
Man.
it.
Oh, Pain got a type 5. What's up?
That's what she said.
All right.
I know that shit sounds sexual. You got a type 5.
So here go your top 5.
All right.
Top 5, because something that you love, right?
Come on.
Top 5 jazz artists of all time.
Oh, I almost touched my shirt where the mic is. God bless me. I don't know of all time, but I am.
Your top
Gregory-
5.
oh God, Brian Culbertson is on my list
Okay.
for
Fine.
sure. Norman Brown is on my list. I don't know if we're going old school, but Dinah Washington is on my list.
Come on.
Oh my God, from Zion, Gregory Porter. Hi, Gregory.
Here you go.
I fucking love Gregory Porter. He is my new, he's my new sensation. I
Okay.
love Gregory Porter.
Okay.
I'm not saying the sister's name right because I'm new with her. Samaya Joy. She's,
Pretty simple.
I don't know that I said it right. She knows who she is. But she is the quintessential jazz woman. Of course, I love Billie Holiday, all those kinds of things, but she is a new age. That baby is, I think she under 25, sing like she's 63. This thing, and I say thing with the most,
With 3 A's.
That baby sings. I love it. I love an old school record though, straight
Yeah.
up and down. I love a good jazz artist. I don't know who all we're putting into jazz because of course you have Miles and Dizzy Gillespie and my a tasket, fucking Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was,
Yeah. Do you do into the jazz?
no, I thought it was about Luke Skywalker. He did that too. I didn't know. I thought that was a Too Loud Crew song. I didn't know. I forgot the question.
I didn't think about that.
I forgot the question.
Shout out to Eartha Kitt. Shout out to, there's so many jazz artists I love. I love.
I'm into
a lot.
Brazilian jazz.
Ooh.
Bossa Nova?
We were talking about that.
It
That
is.
Bossa Nova. There's this
It's so
chick. She do some Spanish shit. What is her name? Elena Elias.
That's Alanis Morissette.
No, it ain't. It ain't. It's this older chick. I'll send you pictures of all this so you can like post a fucking picture of the people we talking about, these real motherfuckers. But I like some different shit because my mind is so busy as a comedian. I'm always thinking. And so jazz like slows me down. So
Yeah.
it's not so busy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't listen to trap and all that other shit so much because it's just doing too
You know
much.
who got me on jazz?
Who?
Your cousin, DavidBanner. David
Shout
Banner.
out to my cousin David Banner.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real
He's-
hoes
he's-
get
he's-
down on the floor to jazz.
He's my mentor.
Jazz.
He's my mentor, and we're talking, and at the end of the conversation, it's like ride back home and just listen to something that ain't got no words in it, like, or don't listen to anything at all. Roll your windows down, listen to the wind. But if you need music, just listen to jazz. It ain't got no words. You got to think about what's going on. It just put you in a thoughtful mood. So that's who put me
That's
in.
very true.
Exactly why
Very
I listened
true.
to it. And me and David did not meet as cousins until we were adults.
Really?
I did not know that was my cousin. My mom. You know how your mom would be telling you shit.
You know that.
You don't believe that shit. You know that's your cousin. You're like,
we just-
motherfucker. She said, my mama was like, she said my cousin was in the studio in Mississippi. And when she said it, I said, well, there's no rappers in Mississippi. So whomever you're talking about is in some garage.
Yeah.
On some bullshit.
Right.
One day, me and my sister, we're at the house cleaning up, chilling. We listen to dun, dun, real hoes get down on the floor like a pin. Mama walk in like, oh shit, that's your cousin. I said, you're a I cussed at my mom. I said, you're a fucking liar. Like, why would you say that?
Wow.
She said, no. When I told you that's your cousin in the studio,
That's the one.
That's the
what I was
one.
talking
They
about.
don't
I
even
said,
know.
That's crazy.
Didn't even know how big it was. Just
Unfortunately, his grandfather, my Uncle Didi, passed away. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta go to Uncle Didi's funeral. When I went to Uncle Didi's funeral, that was his grandfather. And, our grandfathers are brothers. And so he was at the funeral, and his grandmother, Aunt Lena May, was like, you gotta meet your cousin. She's been in Barbershop too, and she was in this and that, and da 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 da. And I was like, my mama wasn't lying. Remember my mama was on Celebrity Game Face with us?
oh yeah.
Oh! And then my mama be
Yeah.
sounding
Yeah.
a little crazy. I'm not crazy, but just you would question it.
The look
You
set
would-
it off.
the look
It's
he gave.
relatable. It's
It's
relatable.
relatable
It's relatable to
because
me.
you
It's
know
it's
what I
relatable to me because we just found out D-Rock from Yin Yang Twins is my wife's cousin.
With the arm?
Hand,
With the hand.
just the hand.
Just
the
the
rest of the
hand.
arm is normal.
No, but the wait till you see my dick. Wait till you see my dick.
Yeah.
We gon' tits.
So T-Pain, let me ask you a quick question, man.
I'm gonna give you a quicker answer.
Yeah.
What's it
because
like,
look, we went down memory lane.
What's
We
it
did
like
the
working
whole
with this
thing.
young lady on the
wow.
podcast, man?
So I hit when I was starting my podcast, I hit Hannibal Buress, and I was like, bro, do you know any funny females? We need one female that's gonna just gonna kill it. And we had actually saw Vanessa before I hit Hannibal. And when he said the chick that opened up for me, I was like, oh yeah, the chick with the jeans. I don't know what it is about Vanessa.
I wear
this
good pair of
motherfucker get her jeans tailored. It has to be.
She does
She has
indeed.
to. She got to get them shits made onto her. So I was like, oh yeah. Even when we left the show, I was like, that chick was funny, and her fucking jeans were cool as hell.
Right?
So I was like, yeah, nah. Tell her come hang out. We went to the Sugar Factory. Oh my! And we laughed all fucking night, and I was like, I don't want to even try nobody else. This is it.
That's what's
That's
up.
all I want, and it's been that way since the beginning. You know, it's always a pleasure working with her. Obviously, you know, and then B, came into the situation very, very understanding about how our friendship is and how we fuck around and joke around and shit like that. So. It's just good to have it's like an addition to the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that gets dangerous when your boss or your CEO start talking about family shit, but this ain't Walmart, so we it's actually genuine, and it's added so much, man, and it's giving us another dynamic, and it's not Vanessa Fraction of the T-Pain. Nappy Boy Radio podcast. It's Vanessa Fraction that be with T-Pain and them, or it's that chick, or even if they don't know, even if they starting to know, it's you still feel that presence.
Gotcha.
It's not a who is this bitch kind of thing.
Right.
Everybody, even if it's like some woman hating ass incel, they still like. I don't like bitches, but this one's funny. Bitches ain't shit, but this one's actually kind of funny. She made me laugh once, I think. Okay, I laughed. So when you get that reaction out of people that truly are searching for a reason to hate on something, that means it's undeniable. You know what I mean? So it's a game changer, man.
That's
and
dope.
we about to start season 3, so
that's dope, man.
This is about to be a journey.
Yeah.
And she's about to start her own shit, the Fraction of Action.
Yes.
So her podcast is about to be, I don't want to say up under, but part of the conglomerate that is. It's not up under. We're adding her to the podcast family. So
that's cool.
With Nappy Boy Radio Podcast, we're also signing other podcasts to
Florida Heat
podcast, Young Cash and Midget Mac. The Lopriori podcast with Mike and Danny Lopriori. Like, we doing a bunch of stuff. So, and we're doing the action, the Fraction of Action. So
that's good, man.
To have these things, and I only really sign people that I absolutely fuck with, because when the business go away, you still got to be good people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We still got to be able to say, all right, episode's done. Y'all want to go fucking Magic City or something? Like, you know, bananas in the strip club. Got a list on the rest of the team. But it works, man. I mean, and it not only does it work, but it was a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? So
you can tell y'all feed off each other really, really well.
For sure. And it wasn't like oh shit, we're gonna make a bunch of money with the chick here. It was like, this motherfucker's funny. I'd hang around her with no cameras.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? And that's really important to me and my brand. So yeah.
Good stuff.
That
man.
shit.
Yeah.
And she smells decent most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time.
That's dope, man.
It's nice to have that around.
That's dope, man.
She still got the genes, I guess.
And the jeans. Never hurts.
Genes.
All right, there we go.
Hey, man, we'll definitely appreciate you stopping in.
Absolutely, man.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate y'all
And
for
coming out
having
to support. And Vanessa, great job as always. Always a pleasure to have you here.
I love you, Angelo, and I love Uptown Comedy Corner.
We appreciate that. We love you
How you
back.
color match that shirt and that hat together.
I know.
That's two different brands. Same motherfucking
Hard
color.
as
That's your
fuck. Like,
damn.
that
Niggas don't do that. That's damn near impossible. That's damn near impossible. That's two different brands. The same. How you find the same olive, nigga? Damn. This nigga's a genius. I know he be online, boy. This nigga's
That's
great.
hilarious,
You're
man.
great at it. You're good at it, though.
Hey, man, this has been the Sit Down at Uptown.
Greens
My
and blacks.
girl, Vanessa
That's
Fraction. tpain in the building.
I'm Leo.
Here we are.
Good night. Good